Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Rossi. Today we're going to use cool colors to make a crocodile. Let's get started. What you'll be needing today is a pencil, an eraser, a scissor, a glue stick, something to color with. I'm going to use some markers today. We're going to need a piece of blue construction paper and a piece of green construction paper. We're also going to need a little bit of white paper for some details. We're going to need 2 extra pieces of paper, one with blues and one with greens to add texture later on. To make my colored papers, I took a small piece of white paper and I folded it in half, connecting the left and right sides to fold like a book. After I folded it, I opened it back up, grabbed my scissors, and cut my piece of paper down the folded line. This gave me 2 smaller pieces of white paper. I'm going to take my yellow, my light green, and my dark green markers, and I'm just going to scribble those colors onto the paper. For this to work, we need to use a water-based marker, something that is washable, like a Mr. Sketch or a Crayola marker. I'm going to just scribble these colors all over my paper. It does not have to be perfect, because now that I'm done, I'm going to grab my dish of water and my paintbrush, and I am going to paint that water right across the top of my marker. This is going to help my markers blend together and to create a nice textured, colorful paper. All of my white space is going to get filled in, and my paper will come out looking perfect. Once I finish my green paper, I'm going to take the other half of that white piece of paper that I cut, and I'm going to grab my light blue, my dark blue, and my purple markers. I'm going to do the same thing where I'm just scribbling those colors onto my paper. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And once I'm done, I'm going to grab my water dish and I am going to wet the top of that paper to blend those colors together. If you don't have these supplies at home, you can always use crayons or colored pencils or watercolor paint or regular markers and just color in these 2 pieces of paper so you can add some textures on top when we're making our crocodile. You can even use these same 2 colors and use crayon or marker on top to make them a little darker so they'll look different when we're adding them to our project. A couple weeks ago, we used warm colors to draw some lions. This week, we're going to use cool colors to make crocodiles. Now, the warm colors we used for our lions were red, yellow, and orange. Our cool colors are green, blue, and purple. Now, when we learned about warm colors, we learned that our warm colors remind us of things that are hot, like fire or the sun. Our cool colors remind us of things that are cold, like ice and water and grass. So we're going to make a crocodile today using our cool colors of green, blue, and purple. I'm going to take my green paper to start, and this is going to create the top of my crocodile's head. Now I'm going to draw my crocodile so it's nice and big, and we're going to draw its head first with our pencil. Our crocodile's head is going to be like a big triangle shape. So I'm drawing a line that goes out, and it's coming down across my paper and meeting at a rounded point. So you're kind of making a big, long triangle to make our crocodile's head. We're only going to use our crocodile's head today because we're going to place it on our blue paper to make it look like our crocodile is sticking its face up out of the water. I'm going to grab my scissor and I'm going to cut out this shape. I'm going to save my scraps because I'm actually going to use these for the eyes later. But right now I'm going to take my crocodile's head and I'm going to glue it onto my blue paper. And I'm just going to glue my crocodile's head right in the middle of that paper. I'm going to look at the piece of paper that I just cut out and see if I can see any pencil lines still showing. Wherever you see any pencil lines, I can see some around the edge there and up on the top here. That's the side of your paper you're going to want to put your glue, because we don't want to see those pencil lines once we stick this down on our paper. So we always put the glue on the side with our pencil lines. Now that I have glue on that side, I'm going to flip it over and just glue it right in the middle of my blue piece of paper. Now, if you don't have construction paper at home to build your crocodile, you can always use a white piece of paper and just draw all the shapes that we're going to make and color them in with crayons or markers to create your crocodile. I'm going to grab that scrap of green that I had from before so we can make our crocodile's eyes. To make our eyes, I'm going to cut my paper so it is a little bit smaller, just like that. I'm going to fold this in half. And I'm going to look at it so I have the smallest side of my fold showing. So my paper isn't perfect, it's not lining up perfectly here, so I'm looking at the side where I have the littler piece folding over the big piece. I'm only doing this so I can make 2 eyes at once. You can always cut out 1 eye and then trace it onto the paper on another spot and create a second eye that way. I want my eyes to be able to stand up, so they need a flat bottom that we can fold and glue onto our paper by drawing a horizontal line across the bottom of my green paper. And then I'm going to bring that up and over to make a big hill or mountain shape. I want it nice and tall because I am going to fold it down a little bit to make my eye. As my paper is folded, I'm going to take it and cut out that shape. And since my paper is folded, I'm going to get 2 of the same shaped eyes here. And I don't need these scraps anymore, so I can put those away and I will have 2 eye shapes. With my eye shape, I'm going to take it and I'm just going to fold it almost in half, so I get a little flat bottom that I can use to stand my eye up on my crocodile. I'm going to do that to my other eye too. So I am just taking it and folding that flat end up towards the middle of my eye and pressing it down so I can stand up 2 eyes on the sides of my crocodile's face. I'm going to put glue only on that flat bottom of my eye, and I'm going to stick it towards the back of my crocodile's face and just press down that flat fold that we made so my eye can stand up. I'm going to put my other eye on the other side of my crocodile's face because their eyes are on the sides of their head. Press that down. You might need to bend it one more time to get it to stand up nice and straight. And then your crocodile should look like this. If you're just drawing your crocodile and not using your paper to cut it out and make it, you can just draw some nice round eyes on the sides of your crocodile's head and that will work. Now I'm going to grab my markers and I'm going to give my crocodile an eyeball. You can make your crocodile's eyes whatever color you would like. I'm going to use purple today since it goes with our cool colors. And to do that, I'm just going to fold that eye down and draw a circle right in the middle to create our eyeball. So I'm folding that flap down and drawing a circle. And then I can fold it back up. So then my crocodile's eyes are standing up and it can look where it's going. Now crocodiles have a lot of teeth, so on our white paper we're going to cut out some teeth to go around our crocodile's mouth. To do this, I'm just going to cut a small rectangle off of my white paper and I'm going to draw a big zigzag line all the way across. Now my zigzag line is going to touch the edge of my paper every time, so when I cut it out, I'm going to get a bunch of small triangles. I'm going to cut those out with my scissors, just cutting along that zigzag line to get those triangles for my teeth. And now I have a bunch of white little teeth that I'm just going to place all around my crocodile's mouth. So it's going to go all around this big pointy part of our crocodile. I'm going to make sure I keep those pencil line sides down so those sides will get the glue on them, but I'm just going to lay them out to see how many I have right now and to see if I need to cut any more before I get rid of my white paper. It looks like I could use 2 more triangles, and luckily my zigzag line created more triangles on this side of my white paper, so I just have to go and cut along that line to get some more triangles nice and easy without even having to draw anymore. Perfect, so now I have all my teeth in position. I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm just going to glue down all of those teeth, making sure I stick the glue on the pencil line side of my paper. And our crocodile is looking good. It just needs a few more details to help bring it to life. We're going to add some scales along the top of our crocodile's head, and we're going to add some waves in our water where our crocodile is swimming. To do that, we're going to use those colored pieces of paper that we saved from earlier. So with my green paper, I'm going to cut out some oval shapes and line those down my crocodile's face. And with my blue paper, I'm going to cut out some wavy lines to put in the background for my ocean. I'm going to start with my green paper and I'm going to flip it over so my pencil lines will be on the white side and not on the colorful side. And I'm just going to draw some big ovals that I can use as scales. You can make your scales whatever shape you want. I fit them going down the length of my paper, but I can also fit some on the side, so I can make a bunch of scales for my crocodile. And I'm going to cut all those out with my scissor. Okay, so I finished cutting out all of my little ovals from my colored green piece of paper, and I can just start to lay those out on my crocodile's face to see where I want to put each one. I fit most of my scales on there. It's okay if all of them don't fit. You can always save those for another fun project, but I'm just going to glue those on. All right, my crocodile is looking really cool with its color changing scales on its head. Now I'm going to do the same thing but in the water around our crocodile. So on my blue paper that I have here, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to draw big wavy lines that are connected with points at each end. So they kind of look like big mustaches. And I'm just going to draw a bunch of these in all different sizes, just like we did with our scales. I'm going to cut those out with my scissor and then line them up on my blue paper to see if I like them. So now I have all of these really pretty wavy lines. I'm just going to pick through and get rid of the ones that have a flat edge. I want them to be kind of pointy on the edges to make more of a wavy shape. And I'm just going to lay those out along my crocodile to see where I'd like to put them. I think that looks good. I'm going to save all the other ones for another project, and I'm just going to glue these down onto my paper. And that is my cool colored collaged crocodile all finished. So I used our cool colors of green, blue, and purple. I cut out all different pieces of paper in simple shapes and layered them on top of each other to create our crocodile swimming in a lake. If you'd like to share a picture of your crocodile with me, you can send it to me in an email or through Google Docs. I love to see what you create. Try your best, have fun, and get creative. Bye!